Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Friday. I hope all of you are doing good. I was preparing another stream that I'm going to be doing later after this and kind of browsing in the chat, and good to see all of you tonight. I really hope you guys are doing good. Tonight's going to be an interesting stream because we have some crazy bad news. Well, it wouldn't be any day that ended in a Y if we didn't, right? We also have some good news actually coming out of Michigan, something I'm excited for, and I'm going to encourage you all to get behind. And then something a little bit fun. So, New Mexico. This is breaking. This just happened within an hour before I started this stream tonight. The governor has declared during an executive order emergency, I'm going to cover this in just a minute here, that it is now illegal to carry firearms in public, whether it's concealed or openly, in the city of Albuquerque and Bernalillo, I think is how you probably pronounce that county. Let's think about that for a minute. A governor summarily just banning, this is just across the board, carry of firearms in any fashion whatsoever. Now, she's the governor of New Mexico, which last time I checked is a state in the United States of America. And in the United States of America, we have a constitution, which is supposed to be the supreme law of the land. And the second time our constitution was amended, it says a well-regulated militia be necessary to the security of a free state. See, look, guys, I love the whole Bill of Rights. I do. Obviously, that's what made this country great at one time, and I have hope and optimism could make it great again. But the Second Amendment literally tells you why. That's why. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear, so you can keep them and bear them, arms, shall not be infringed. Now, shall not be infringed, that doesn't grant you a right. The government never granted you a right to keep and bear arms, and that's a good thing. No, it's a prohibition on any form of gun control whatsoever. Shall not be infringed is very clear, very succinct, and it literally means what it says and says what it means in America. So when the supreme law of the land says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, what country does New Mexico think it's in? What country does the governor of New Mexico think that she's governing over? Because it couldn't be America when the law of the land would compel her, order her. Shall is a very powerful legal word, that she couldn't even consider anything like this. Well, she just did it, and this comes via a press release. I'm going to get into that in 1 second here, but before I do, I want to thank all of you for the many ways that you help support the channel. Thank you to all of the YouTube channel members, those of you who leave generous super chats. Just liking and subscribing and sharing, that's also help, and I appreciate that too. Also to all of the Patreon supporters, and all of you who are members of my locals community. It's another site, censorship-free, and we're going to talk here for about another hour and 15 minutes. And at 11 p.m. tonight, I have another live stream. It's already scheduled over on my locals community because towards the end of this stream, we're going to transition into me unboxing a little ammo, which is fun. And I want to do that stuff because we need to talk about the crazy stuff like banning all carry of firearms in these areas of New Mexico. We need to cover it. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about something that's a little more optimistic going on in Lansing, Michigan. And we're going to talk about that too. And then we need to have fun once in a while and just look at guns and ammo. But we have a little problem with that because, see, on YouTube here, they have very strict policies that if I were to even touch a firearm here live, they would end the stream instantly. And they've done that before when I wasn't even touching one. And they could get rid of my account outright if I were to violate that too many times. So my locals community, it's a censorship-free site. I am going to be streaming there tonight at 11 p.m. For those of you watching on replay, the link for my locals is right down there in the description. Go over there. It's free to join. There's ways you can support the channel financially, totally free over there. and you can also become a member for extra perks. So we're going to do as much as we can here towards the end of the stream, and then we're going to switch over to locals, which is way more fun for that type of stuff, where I can actually literally show and touch guns live. The link's down in the description. Make sure you check it out. Now, one more thing. I can't really show this properly or equipped because of YouTube's rules, but whoever's watching this YouTube, this is an empty holster. This is the JM4 Tactical leather magnetic retention holster. I've had this for a while. I love it. It's literally like revolutionary. I'll show you guys why, right, and how this works in my live stream tonight after this over on Locals. But in the meantime, my link for JM4 Tacticals down in the description. And right now they have an awesome sale. You can save 20% site-wide on this holster and many other options, including their coffee, which is really good. And I'm going to type the promo code. This code's only good until the 11th. Another 3 days. Here's the promo code. Let me type this in better where I spell it properly. Okay, the code's right down there in the chat. Use that code, save 20%. And if you use my link, I'm not trying to sell you guys one of these, but this is an awesome, awesome deal. Especially with this sale, this is the time to buy one if you need an awesome holster that's very versatile. And if you use my link, it does help support the channel without a penny coming out of your pocket. So definitely check that out. And I will show this how it actually works with something in it when I'm not on this site in about an hour. So, but yeah, really, really nice product. Like it a lot. High quality leather. And like I said, we'll show you how this works after the fact when we're not live on YouTube, because I really enjoy hanging out with you guys and I don't want them to end the stream prematurely. So this is in response to another tragedy. Okay. And these things are tragic, but just keep in mind, guns are neither, look, guns inherently, they're neither good nor evil. It's an inanimate object. It's made out of steel, polymer, wood, aluminum, all kinds of things like that. Oh, there's bad people out there, and bad people use tools and have been using different tools to do bad things to people for a long, long time. It's really, really sad. I mean, Cain killed Abel way before firearms were out. Obviously, this has been happening, and this is just the way it is. And let's call it what it is. We always have been, we are right now, and we always will be in a battle of good versus evil. And evil is known to prevail when good men do nothing. And that's why we like to hang out here, encourage each other, and try to make a difference. But yeah, somebody bad did something bad with a gun. But see, they don't like to report on all of the many, many hundreds of thousands, up into the millions of good people with guns that save good lives every year. Because you all know this. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, obviously. And that's why you carry a gun. And that's why you're your own first responder, to protect yourself, your family, your hometown, and to protect your state and the United States of America. You know, I like the Michigan Constitution, Article 1, Section 6. Every person has the right to keep and bear arms in defense of himself and the state. So that acknowledges right there. You can protect yourself. You can protect your state, right? And the Founding Fathers talked many times to protect against enemies, foreign or domestic, up to and including protection against a tyrannical government. And yet again, we have another tyrannical government on display here in New Mexico. This is the official press release. I'm sorry, this is an article, which I'll go over, and this is the official press release from today. This just broke this evening here. Governor announces statewide enforcement plan for gun violence, fentanyl reduction. Okay. Plan includes 30-day suspension of concealed and open carry in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. I believe that's how you pronounce the L's. Any New Mexicans, tell me if I'm wrong. Out of Santa Fe, Governor Michelle Grisham announced on Friday a new public health order. Public health order. Just think about that. And think about a plague, a sickness, whatever, that they're getting ready to ramp up for this winter and in time for the next elections. And we're doing this again in the name of public health. See, again, the government's now doing research again to look at the gun violence epidemic They're treating it like it's a virus or a disease, and the government's studying that and trying to come up with stats to show that it is. And the very liberal anti-gun governor of New Mexico is clearly falling in line. You know what I'm saying? What's happening, Clover Tech? New Mexicans, watch it. Might have to report that, bro. Is that what they're called? I don't know. New Mexico? Michiganians are from Michigan. I don't know what people from New Mexico call themselves, but I'm guessing it'd be New Mexicans. I don't know. I meant that as a compliment for anyone that's in New Mexico. I don't know what you call yourselves, though. But we see this governor. She's already falling right in line with this new agenda where they're trying to declare guns a health crisis. And there are health crises in this country, including mental health, but they don't like to work on that too much, do they? It says, so this is in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. The recent shooting deaths of a 13-year-old girl on July 28th, a 5-year-old girl on August 14th, and an 11-year-old boy on September 6th, as well as 2, quote, mass shootings this year spurred the government to declare gun violence a public health emergency on Thursday. Today's public health order includes directives to curb the gun violence and drug abuse that the governor has declared to be public health emergencies. Here's a quote. As I said yesterday, the time for standard measures has passed, said the governor of New Mexico. Oh, it's right here. See, I knew I wasn't off. Come on, Clover, you're messing with me. This is from the governor's office. And when New Mexicans, see, are afraid to be in crowds, to take their kids to school, to leave a baseball game, when their very right to exist is threatened by the prospect of violence at every turn, something's very wrong. That's funny because in America, the only reason the government would be allowed to exist at all is to protect your natural rights, rights that were endowed by your creator, not by the government. And the government only exist at the consent of the governed. And no, we're not a democracy because that's mob rule. That's 2 wolves voting against 1 sheep on what's for dinner. And we don't have a monarchy, right? That's what Ben Franklin said. We have a republic if we can keep it. And we're not supposed to have orders that come down from the chief executive that will immediately deprive people of their natural right to keep and bear arms across this whole area. This is a wide sweeping area. From what I understand, this is like the most populous region and area of New Mexico. And this is a decree. Kind of like, the King of England, when the founding fathers said, we're tired of your decrees. Now we have people in the executive branch at the very top just decreeing things. There was no vote to abolish the Second Amendment. Now, even if there was that vote, look at early Supreme Court case Marbury v. Madison. All laws that are repugnant to the Constitution, those are void. But no, nobody tried to pass a law here. Nobody's duly elected representatives or senators in New Mexico took a vote. 1 person just made an edict to strip you of your natural right to keep or bear arms in public in this major city and county within New Mexico. Continues. During a substantive and earnest conversation on Friday with public safety officials, including District Attorney Sam Brigman, Bernalillo County Sheriff John Allen, Albuquerque Police Chief Harold Medina. So she's bringing the police into this. This is a tough call, man. All those police and sheriffs take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, as do all public servants and senators and governors and you name it, your city councilman, your township trustee, your dog catchers even usually voted on, right? When I see police going along with this, that's not good. I don't like it at all. Shout out to all the police that are against this, but too many times I see the police and even in many cases sheriffs at these press conferences going along with this, and I don't like that at all. That's troubling in its own right. Former state police chief Pete casetas, and state law enforcement leadership. The government expanded on her plans to drastically reduce the number of violent incidents and fentanyl-related deaths in New Mexico. Now, fentanyl is deadly no matter how you use it, right? I've never tried it, but I think that's pretty well known. Where a gun, is it a good gun? Is it a bad gun? Well, it's not either. Good people have guns, protect many, many, many lives. Many good people protect their families and their friends and hometowns with guns and always have. Fentanyl, I don't see any use for that garbage, right? I really don't. This is a drug that's like not even recreational. They say you can literally try it once, and in many cases, you're dead. Accidentally, on purpose, whatever. Getting some fentanyl, I don't know. See, here's the problem. Getting that off the streets on its face, yeah, great idea, actually. But we did this massive war on drugs for decades, too, in this country, and that didn't do any good. So it just goes to show, even if it's something like getting rid of fentanyl, the government usually sucks so bad at that, they make matters worse. I mean, that's what history's shown us in the last few decades. I mean, if you grew up in the 80s as a kid like I did, it was all about DARE and just say no in the schools, and that's fine. I think it's great to teach kids to stay off drugs. But at the end of the day, we have more drugs now than we did then. But here's the difference. Fentanyl, that's one thing. You could give me a compelling argument, and I might be with you on getting rid of some of that, right? Getting rid of all of it, whatever. But there is a Third Amendment to the Constitution, but the Third Amendment doesn't say the right to keep and deal fentanyl shall not be infringed. No, that's not a right. And that's not enumerated in the Bill of Rights. But the right to keep and bear arms is. So they're lumping guns and drugs together, saying they can get them both off the street equally to each other. That's another slap in the face to the Second Amendment. That's a big slap in the face to all of the, even quote, law-abiding gun owners in New Mexico in these areas. Lumping you in with druggies and drug dealers or whatever they're trying to do here. Now, I say law-abiding gun owner in these areas in quotes because I don't even know what that means anymore. Apparently, you would no longer be a law-abiding gun owner in these areas if you were to exercise your natural right to bear arms in public. Look, guys, when guns are outlawed, only outlaws will own guns, obviously. So again, like, look, you know something bad when you see it. Murder is bad. You don't have the right to murder. Whether it's with a gun, whether it's with your hands and feet, which, by the way, they always want to say they want to ban these so-called assault rifles. Yeah, according to the government stats, more people are killed each year with hands and feet than rifles. But they don't care about any of that. No. They want to come through and, again, take what would have been considered law-abiding citizens. I have to use air quotes because I don't even know what country we live in when a governor can just summarily suspend all forms of carry in public for a month. I have no idea if you're law-abiding or not, according to her. Now, according to the Constitution and according to the laws of the land, it would definitely be law-abiding to carry in public, but I guess not anymore. Let's keep going. This is pretty heavy duty, and there's a lot to this. There's a lot of, there's just a lot to this. This is very political and very tyrannical, and here's what sucks, man. Look, it is what it is wherever you're at. There's many, many fine people that live everywhere, in every country of the world, in every city of the world. Some cities do have a higher propensity towards violence. Depends who you are. You might think it's great to live in a big city. You might think it sucks. I don't like big cities myself. I'm not very comfortable there. But that's because I didn't grow up in one and I've never lived in one. But somebody who grew up in a big city might love it there. And while there's many, many bad people, no doubt, in this county and in Albuquerque, just like there's bad people out living on dirt roads too, obviously. I know for a fact, I don't even know anybody that lives in Albuquerque. I might know one of you guys. I just don't necessarily know you live there, right? But I know for a fact there's good people that live there. And since crime's so high, those good people understand that they need to exercise their right to keep and bear arms more than ever before. Look, if there weren't any bad people around at all, just pretend you could wave a magic wand. And if men were angels, we need no government at all. That's what the Federalist Papers said. But since men are not angels, they decided they needed to put in a very limited government, not to grant rights, not to take rights away like the governor of New Mexico is, to protect your natural rights from each other, to make it where nobody, let alone a governor or your neighbor or someone around town that doesn't like your politics, would not be able to deprive you your right to keep and bear arms because the government has ordered that it shall not be infringed. And as violence goes up, and people that need to protect themselves with a gun more than ever understand that, and they're just trying to make a living, they're trying to go to the park to play with their kids. Like the governor said, they're just trying to walk around town. Yeah, these aren't only gangbangers and drug dealers and all these people that she's talking about that, these are bad people and fentanyl is bad, so all guns are bad. No. There's good people walking around those streets too. And there are. I've talked about the capital of Michigan a lot, all the stuff going on in Michigan. I told you guys a million times, look, I wouldn't insult all of you guys and just talk about Michigan when 49 states might not care about it. No, I said, listen up, because this matters. What's been going on in Michigan is indicative of this whole scheme that they're doing under the current administration of the former vice president. So MSU, there was a tragedy in a gun-free zone. And let's call it what it is. It's a criminal empowerment zone. So what do? They ban guns from the Capitol, and we're going to talk about how some people are fighting back on that in just a little bit this evening. They take a building, the Capitol building, from 1877 to present. There's never been a shooting inside of that building. So where there was a sign on the door saying you couldn't have guns, a violent person came in and purported evil on innocent people because they knew they couldn't defend themselves. And time again, we keep seeing the same thing. Let me say that one more time. Time and time again, we keep seeing the same thing happen. So they take a place where there's never been a problem because criminals don't like to be around good guys that are armed, because an armed society is a polite society. And where schools, in states where schools allow staff and teachers to carry, this is according to Dr. John Lott, who's the main statistician for these type of gun stats, there has never been one school shooting during school hours in a place where the staff and teachers were carrying guns. Not all of them were carrying, just some were, and that's deterrent enough. So while they're saying there's a gun problem here in New Mexico, in certain areas, they're going to strip the good people of their right to bear arms in public. That's a recipe for disaster. And not only in my opinion, but all stats would indicate and lead you towards that it's going to make it less and less and less safe for people trying to go about their normal lives. The action plan includes a suspension of open and concealed carry laws in Bernalillo County. This includes Albuquerque. Temporarily prohibiting the carry of guns on public property, with certain exceptions. Exceptions include for licensed security guards and law enforcement officers. There you go. No wonder the police are in on this. At least some of these police that she named here. Okay. I ain't bringing the police into this. She is. She put some of their names and positions right here. So that's probably why they're cool with it, because they're exempt. Stop exempting these guys and see how cool they are with this. Wouldn't that be a novel concept? What do you guys think would happen? Let me know. I read all these chats afterwards. And I appreciate the lively discussions that you guys have on here every Friday night. Security guard. Okay, so yet again, protecting expensive items like jewelry and banks and places that have security guards. Always been more important to these types of people than protecting you or your family. People trying to get by in this county, in New Mexico. Exemptions include licensed security guards and law enforcement officers. Now, here's the kicker. I first read this and thought, hold on a minute, permit holders are exempt, but I don't think so. Let's just read this. This is crazy. Citizens with permits to carry firearms, so you have to have a permit to even do this, are free to possess their weapons on private property, such as a gun range or gun store, provided they transport the firearm in a locked box using a trigger lock or some other mechanism that renders the gun incapable of being fired. So the way I read that is, if you do not have a carry permit, okay, it's called CPL in Michigan. I don't know what it's called in New Mexico, but if you do not have a carry permit, you can't even have your gun out in public to transport it to the range or a gun store. You have to have a permit, but even then you have to have it in a locked box or a trigger lock, rendering it useless. See, this reminds me of the Michigan safe storage law, making it safer for the criminal to come into your house. Think about it. It's 3 a.m. Boom, you hear the glass break. The door gets kicked in. Criminals don't follow laws. So like all of these only affect the law abiding. Duh. But we have to state the obvious because the other side won't. If it tells any form of the truth or gets rid of their narrative, they won't tell you, quite frankly. Look, good people don't need laws generally because we have a moral compass that's going to prevent us to hurt anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody. Just leave us the heck alone and we'll do our thing, right? I know a lot of you feel that way. But criminals, by their very virtue, don't follow laws. So yet again, it only affects you. It only affects the law abiding. If you abide, because when guns are outlawed, only outlaws will own guns. Just keep reminding yourself of that. And this is happening in New Mexico. This could start happening everywhere. Literally. So if you have a carry permit, but criminals are going to carry whatever guns they want, no matter what. That's just what they do because it's already illegal for most of them to have guns anyways. So whatever, right? You have to have a permit to carry your gun completely locked up and inoperable to a gun range or gun store. Now, if you don't have a permit, just from reading the plain language of this, it obviously implies that you can't even transport it off your private property at all. And even if you do have a permit, you're only allowed to carry this firearm concealed or, well, it'd have to be concealed because it has to be locked up and in a box. You can still only do that with a permit to go to a gun range or gun store. So I don't even think that a permit holder in these areas in New Mexico for the next 30 days will be able to carry a gun to their buddy's house, even if it's locked, even if it's rendered inoperable. I mean, I'm going to hold this up here in case anyone wants to pause on replay. It's the last paragraph here. It's having a hard time focusing. Sorry about that. Citizens, I'm just going to read this one more time. I'm not trying to insult you guys' intelligence. It's just taking me a minute for this to sink in. Citizens with permits, okay, so you have to have a permit to qualify for this exemption, to carry firearms are free to possess their weapons on private property, such as a gun range or gun store. It doesn't say any other private property, just those two, provided they're transporting it in a locked box using a trigger lock or some other mechanism that renders incapable of being fired. Okay. Sorry to bore you guys. I just had to read it 3 times and think to myself, because I'm like, wait, this can't be what it says. No, it does. So a non-permit holder can't even transport it anywhere, no matter if it's locked or not, in these areas for at least 30 days. I say at least because who knows? Hopefully less than that. Hopefully some court will come in and stop this. I hope so. I don't know, though. This is breaking news. Dropped on a Friday to try to bury the lead, obviously. But we're on it. My wife told me about it like the minute it broke. And then John Crump with John Crump News called me up to tell me about it. And I'm like, dude, you're good at breaking leads, but you're second best because my wife pretty much always beats you to the punch. But other than her, John Crump News is good at breaking news. And he called me about this. And I'm like, dude, like, how's this even possible, right? I don't know if she's in the chat tonight, but Usually goes by Ultra Mega Mama Linda. Breaking more news than any journalist there is. Even though she's just a mom at home on her computer. Right now. Anyways. So without a permit, you can't even go to the gun range or a gun store. Even with the permits, you can't even take it to your buddy's house, even if it's locked. In America? What do you guys think is going to happen? I'm sure people will sue, but that's brazen to even put this out there. Now, I saw in a press conference, the governor did say, I'm sure people are filing lawsuits as we speak, right? And she's like, but basically, I'm paraphrasing. She didn't say it this way, but she's like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it anyways. I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. See, the Constitution, in her opinion, doesn't constrain this woman. Neither does the duly elected legislature. She literally believes, in my opinion, she's the queen of New Mexico. I mean, do you see it any other way? She must think she's the queen of New Mexico to just make a decree like this that clearly violates everything that it means to be an American. I was about to list the things it does violate, and then I'm like, whoa. Let's just give the easier answer. In America, the even notion of something like this, it would be illegal to even think about putting out an order like this. But yet, here we are. There's a little bit more to this I'm going to look at real quick. The Regulation and Licensing Division. Oh, I'm sorry. The Public Health Order also directs, but wait, there's more. Well, there's always more. But we're going to have some better news and kind of transition into this being a little more fun as the stream goes on. Someone's asking about ammo, guys. I'm going to show a little bit of ammo on here because we can do that on YouTube. You guys want to know about the scoop on ammo and many other cool things, make sure you're joining that locals community, because when we're done with our stream here, I do already have one scheduled right now. It's pinned right to the top of my feed over there. And we can literally talk about, like, guys, this right here is awesome. I can share tons of deals on stuff there that I can't here because it's a totally separate site. So links down in the description to join my locals community. I hope we can have just as much of a lively discussion over there while I'm actually holding guns and doing all that fun stuff as we are here, where you guys are chatting away about guns that I cannot touch. I am on YouTube right now. Don't forget that. It's where everybody wants to be, but we just can't do guns here while we're live. The Public Health Order also directs the Regulation and Licensing Division. The Regulation and Licensing Division. Yeah, you're already rolling your eyes going, ugh. Nothing good could become of anybody called that. To conduct monthly inspections of licensed firearm dealers. To ensure compliance with all sales and storage laws. Whoa. That's pretty brazen. This isn't the ATF, because they inspect like crazy too. No. The Regulation and Licensing Division is going to start conducting monthly. And this is on the licensed FFL dealers. Wow. The Department of Health, along with the Environment Department. Wait a minute. The Department of Health, along with the Environment Department, to begin wastewater testing for illegal substances as fentanyl at schools. Okay. Hold on, though. They're going to chime in with guns here. I'm like, wait a minute. The Department of Health to compile and issue a comprehensive report on gunshot victims presenting to hospitals in New Mexico, which shall include, if available, demographic data of gunshot victims, including age, gender. I didn't think we were allowed to talk about that anymore. Like, what's a gender? Do you remember that? It's currently a Supreme Court justice. They had her up there. They're like, excuse me, judge, you want to be on the highest court of the land? What's a woman? And she said, I don't know. Then they asked the former vice president, what's a woman? He said, I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize to the pressure. They had her up there. They said, look, Your Honor, what's a woman? She said, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Nobody knows what it is. And I'm just sitting here, barely any formal education, never been a judge, never will be. And I'm like, you don't know what a woman is? It's an adult female person, duh. But they want to compile your gender, even though they don't even know what it means. Your race, ooh, we're racial profiling again. Bring on Jim Crow. Sounds like New Mexico's trying to join the first half of the last century. But that's what these guys do, see? That's what they do. They're going to racial profile, including age, gender, race, and ethnicity, just to make sure. You're white, but are you a white Hispanic? Or are you a white Caucasian? Yeah, by the way, the right to keep and bear arms, yeah, that protects everybody from their government, by the way. We need to remind all of your politicians and elected public servants of that. It's very, very important. What's your pronouns? I don't know. I can't imagine I'm going to decide on constitutional law. I'm going to do this. I have no idea. Demographic data. Okay. Data on gunshot victims' healthcare outcomes. Make sure they have all their boosters, I assume is what that means. The brand and caliber of the firearm used. I can already tell they're going to be high points and skies for the most part. There you go. I just saved them $1 million. They should just call me. 280 Edu. What firearms are going to be used? Yawn, high points and skies. That's just what it's going to be. It always is. But I digress. The general circumstances leading to the injury, the impact of gunshot victims in New Mexico's healthcare system, and any other pertinent information. Oh, there's the catch-all. You knew it was there. And any other pertinent information. What's a woman? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what it is. I don't know what gender is. Where am I? What's going on? But they're right with it all of a sudden at the end. Or any other pertinent information. Like, they're basically saying we're going to do whatever the hell we want. Right? Let's just call a spade a spade. Also, a prohibition on firearms on state property, including state buildings and schools. This also includes other places of education where children gather, such as parks. Uh-oh. Do you guys remember that whole thing? They called it Waterways of the USA. They said a mud puddle, right? This was the government at work here. A mud puddle's formed. They're like, oh, I think I saw an egg for this one particular little minnow. I live in the Great Lakes states. We see a minnow, we think that's bait. You put it on a fish hook. Good night, Frank. Nice to see you, man. But we're like, a minnow, that's bait. Like, we put that on a hook and like go fish with it, right? Especially ice fishing, obviously. But remember that? They said there's a mud puddle that's formed. There was a guy, he's trying to sell his 100 acres. Property he worked hard to support and earn. And you never own property. Try not paying your property taxes for a year or two. You'll find out how quickly you never own anything in this country, even if it's paid off. But he, quote, owned it, went to sell his land. They said, all right, it's not enough that he had to pay extortion fees of them under duress of a gun and people coming with badges to take his property. He had to pay that extortion fee every year to keep it. That wasn't enough. See, it's never enough. They said, wait a minute, what's that, sir? We found a mud puddle. And in that mud puddle, we thought there's an egg. It's probably for this minnow. It could be a tadpole. Look, they don't even know what a woman is, but when they see a, you know what I mean, right? They see this. They're like, this is now Waterways of the USA. Yeah. And they said, you can't sell your property. I said, excuse me? They change the definitions in these agencies, make it whatever the hell they want. So somebody who owns 100 acres that has a mud puddle and there might be an egg in it, that's Waterways of the USA. How far is this going to go? It says, where children gather. Then it says, such as parks. Hold on a minute. I was out in the woods. Let's say 100-acre woods in New Mexico. Or desert, more like there, right? You're out in the desert. A kid's ball leaves their backyard. They go to get it. Their kids are present. This is now a gun-free zone. Children gathered. He, him, her, Z. It's one child, but they identify as 3 different things. So it counts as 3 people. There you go. That's banned. You think I'm joking? They do this stuff like on a daily basis. Now we're going to bring the police back into it again. Oh, I don't like this, guys. What do you guys think about this? This is a tough topic to broach, and I'm going to let you guys chime in and read on it. I'm trying to gain wisdom from some of y'all on this. What do you guys think of the police? Because I know there's good police out there that are trying to do the right thing. It's just like people. There's good ones and there's bad ones. But the governor can't come to your house to give you a ticket or pull you over. Look, this governor's not going to do any enforcement at all. All of this stuff is going to be enforced by the police, who also take an oath to protect and defend their state constitution and the Constitution of the United States. And every time these jackbooted politicians, they're always giving orders to the police. Now, I know if you're, quote, a Republican or a conservative, you're supposed to unequivocally back the blue no matter what. No matter what. It's your creed, it's your whatever. But I can't just accept that carte blanche. I have to look at it and say, yes, I know there's good cops out there. There's good sheriff's deputies out there. I know there are because I know some of them personally. But it's the whole thing where it's like, nope, no matter what, if it's the cops, you always back what they do no matter what. If there's any cops watching this, I just say cops generically, whether you're a trooper, whether you're a deputy, whether you work for a local city. The Fed boys are in here, but they never speak up. They like the channel too much to comment. But they're always in here. They're always in every stream. We know that. So, what are you fellow police officers? I know there's cops that watch this channel for a fact. What are you guys doing about this? How mad are you guys about this? Because they're bringing up the police yet again. The state police. This is ordered. It's directed. The state police to add officers in Albuquerque with funding for overtime provided. Okay. I don't know. I'm just asking. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I have opinions on it. I'm trying to be, look, I'm just trying to present the question fairly because I know there's going to be different things. I hope there's some type of, you guys don't have to answer, obviously. I respect your anonymity, but if there are any police or sheriffs watching right now that want to chime in, where are you guys at with this? When the governor of your state or whatever comes out and says, I'm going to order the police to do this. And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, dude, I'm pro Second Amendment. You might be thinking, probably, if you're watching this channel. I took that oath and I do mean it. I really do. I know cops and former cops and sheriffs and former sheriffs, deputies. I know a couple actual sheriffs that were elected to be sheriffs. I've had good conversations on this channel with a couple. With State Representative Bob Bazat. He's a former county sheriff. Right? Also a former Army veteran, former county commissioner, former sheriff, the elected sheriff of Livingston County for a long time, now a current state rep. He's not with this at all. He wouldn't do it. The current sheriff, who's in Livingston County now, says, nope, not a chance. I also had former police officer, Representative Mike Harris, on this channel, on this stream about a month ago. He's not with this. In fact, I have some fighting back good news in Michigan concerning Representative Harris. Look, he's a former cop. He's a good dude. Any of you guys that live in his district in Michigan, look, I'm naming Michigan people, guys, because this is where I live. These are people I know. Look up Michigan State Representative Brian Begole. He was a sheriff before he became a state rep. From what I've been told by people in his county that he served and protected, if you will, because that's what they're supposed to do, serve, defend, and protect, right? The Constitution. They said a hell of a dude. And I've talked to him about the Second Amendment in his capacity as a representative, and he's been steadfast. My friend Rick Nieper, who's been on this show before, has been a cop in the past. Last time he was on my show, he was a former police officer. Now he's a police officer again for a small town community around here. So, look, I'm not trying to ride middle of the road. I'm just trying to be mature about this. I just named some people by name that you guys may or may not know. You can look them up if you want. I've brought 3 of them on this channel before. I'll probably do a video with Brian Begole whenever we get a chance to. So I know every single person that's a cop or sheriff's deputy or whatever in this country is not bad. I know that for a fact. But there's a lot of them that really, really are. And I'd like to know, like, what they're doing to fight back against this. Because, oh man, if I was a state police officer in New Mexico right now, and I got these orders, I'd be real ticked off. Like, beyond belief. I mean, I'm really ticked off right now, obviously, but oh, they're bringing in a bunch of extra state police. I just wanted to throw that topic out there. And then at the end, the Children, Youth, and Families Department to immediately suspend the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative and evaluate juvenile probation protocols. And then it ends by the order signed go into effect immediately. So you could have a carry permit, and when the second the ink was put to the paper and this was signed, you were just on your way home. You were already guilty, I guess, and stuff. Man, oh man. Interesting stuff. I'm going to talk about another travesty for just a minute here. I'm not going to talk about it long because we've talked about it a lot on this channel. The CRS Firearms case. Matthew Hoover and Christopher Irving, they just got convicted yesterday. Big time. 60 months for CRS Firearms. Hoover. 68 months for Justin Irving of the auto key card. Credit with time served. I know Irving has served a lot more time already than Hoover. It's just as shocking as this New Mexico thing. Like, how could this happen in America? Yet again, how? In my opinion, it couldn't happen in America. Look, where am I? What's going on? What country are we in? I asked you guys last week, and you guys did give me some responses. The one guy made a novelty piece. Some were a business card holder, a bottle opener, a keychain, many other things. It was a novelty conversation piece. They said, see what's etched on this piece of metal? If these were to be to scale, which they weren't, they were about 20% off. And also if you were to cut them out, and if you were to have mens rea, which is the mischievous mind, the guilty mindset, right? If you were to have the intent or outright put them in a gun, you would violate the National Firearms Act. But here was the problem. They didn't actually work if you did. And how do I know that? The ATF said, and they said it again during the sentencing, they were never able to get any of them to work. Even after they cut them out on the lines, they didn't work. They weren't the right thickness of material, weren't the right metallurgy from what I understand, and they weren't even the right size. There's also no victims in this crime. Nobody got hurt from these. There's not even an allegation that anybody was ever hurt with one of these. So much so that the judge also asked them, well, if you're so concerned about these, why aren't you going to pick them all up that were sold? The thousands that were sold. And they said, oh, we're not worried about picking them all up. Well, then what the hell are you worried about? No, they're worried about making a big statement of people that kind of thumbed their nose and did the old screw you to the ATF, and they did. The ATF said F around and find out, and they did, and the strong arm of the law threw them in the slammer for a long time, completely disrupted their families' lives. It's really sad, because it's sad for the people that are involved, and they're real people, and that saddens me. But it's also sad for all of America as well. You now live in a country if you're an American, keep in mind. If you don't live in America, I know your gun laws are even worse. So you've even got it worse. But you live in a country now where somebody can etch a picture of something that's not to scale. not on the right material, that nobody was ever hurt with. It's not a machine gun by any letter of the law. And by the way, any laws prohibiting actual machine guns, those should be null and void because they're unconstitutional, obviously. But even if you accept the premise of the machine gun laws, which this country has not only accepted it, but embraced it since 1934, everyone that buys a tax stamp embraces the NFA. Now, if they're easy to buy with a form, people are buying more and more stamps by the minute. So clearly, even many gun owners embrace the National Firearms Act. Obviously, since tax stamps keep going through the roof, I'm just calling a spade a spade. And I might have just got people mad at me. I'm not judging anybody personally. I'm just saying, not only anti-gunners, but even a lot of Second Amendment supporting gun owners clearly embrace and financially support the National Firearms Act. But yeah, that's unconstitutional, but America loves it, especially many gun owners that have the tactical Timmy look and have their guns a certain way. They love it even more, trust me. Now, even under that law, the draconian National Firearms Act, they're not part of that at all. Big travesty, literally insane. Ticked off. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. What do you guys think about Liberty safes? News has pretty much gotten out, but I wanted to chime in real quick. I know threaded for my pleasure. It's all good, man. I knew some people get mad at me for that, even good friends of mine. Anyone wants to be mad at me for tonight, that's cool, but I'd like to still be friends afterwards. That logic applies to CPL holders. I'll grant you that premise-ish. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think it's a direct equivalency. We can meet in the middle on that one. But you bring up a point. You do. And anyone that's ever paid taxes and anybody that's whatever. I know. This country doesn't even resemble the founding documents. I know. So yeah, it's a good discussion. I bring up stuff that sometimes makes it lively, but yeah. Okay, so Liberty safes. They gave away somebody's combination code when federal law enforcement called for somebody that was allegedly involved in they call it the J6, right? It's all good, by the way. It's all good, man. I knew that was a spicy topic I brought up. I get it. There is a lot of ways to look at that. I know. I truly do. Like, no hard feelings. They gave the guy's gun safe combination over to federal law enforcement because they called and said that they were entitled to it. It doesn't sit right with me at all. Now, more news came out, and they said, well, we only had that master combination in case you ever needed it because you got locked out of your safe. Like, what if you were deceased and your loved ones needed it? What if you forgot it? Whatever. Well, look. I would err on the side of no, I don't want anyone to have my combination, and I guess I'm screwed or whatever. But here's the thing, you can still get into a safe. Everyone knows you can still get into a safe without a combination. It's not like, oh, you'll never be able to get the family heirlooms or jewelry or your birth certificate out if you forget it. Yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but it's costing a lot of people a ton of money right now to have to buy new locks for these safes. So it doesn't sit right with me. So they came back and said, well, there's a new policy going forward. I'm paraphrasing all this. Just wanted to chime in on it. And Liberty Safe said, going forward, you'll have the option of opting out of this. Where if you tell us to, there's a website they're setting up where you can essentially do it right now. But then going forward, when you go to register your safe, you'll be able to opt out. Better than nothing, I guess, but not much. And I don't give them a pass about it. Because First of all, they already did what they did. You just can't put the toothpaste back in the tube anymore. I've never bought one of their safes, and I'm glad I haven't. And I personally never will. Wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. Okay, that's where I'm at. Now, and there's more to this story even yet that I'm going to get to in just a second here. Why would you opt out? By default, it should be we don't keep your combination, but I guess they could have a policy that says, but when you buy your safe, it could be just like, I'm going to laugh when I say this, how a NICS check is supposed to be, right? The NICS check that you do at a gun shop. Yeah. Soon to be for all sales in Michigan and many other places and the whole country with that executive order. Soon to be when you sell a gun at all, the form you fill out. That NICS check is supposed to be destroyed at the end of the night because they're not supposed to keep a registry and database. Yeah, I know. I'm a stand-up comedian tonight because that's one of the funniest things you've heard all night. If you truly believe they destroy that. But whatever. Here's something that Liberty Safe could have done, in my opinion. Like, if I owned a safe company, I might. I'm not saying I would do this. I just want your opinion on this. This is something I might offer. I might say, look, when we sell this safe to you, we have a master code for it. Just hear me out, guys. But like the NICS check, within 24 or 72 hours, whatever would be a good time frame, of you buying the safe, get a hold of us if you want us to keep it. Because if you don't tell us to keep it, we won't. See, now they're saying they're going to keep it by default, but you have to call them and tell them not to. Well, now you just can't trust them at all. But I'm saying if you could go back in time when you can still trust them, maybe that would be okay. Because there's a few customers out there that are probably like, this is awesome, you know, that somebody would keep my combination for me in case I got locked out. I guess maybe somebody out there might like that. Basically say, look, dude, you have 24 or 72 hours to tell us you want us to keep it. And if you don't, we're automatically deleting it. I don't know, just an idea that I had. But even that has a bunch of holes in it, and I'm not sold on it. They've totally crapped the bed, though. But wait, there's more. Then we find out it was via tweets from Charlie Kirk, and I actually found out about this from my friend Paul, the Legally Armed America channel here on YouTube. Hopefully I'll be hanging out with him again in a few weeks down south. He did a video on YouTube talking about this. Now we find out that Liberty Safe was bought by some investment company on the East Coast a couple of years ago that's very, very liberal and very, very anti-gun, clearly, because higher ups in the company, go watch his video if you want to see a more thorough report. I'm just giving you guys the 5-minute version. Has been donating to all of these anti-gun Democrats, like Raphael Warnock out of Georgia, the senator, Senator Kelly, who's literally married to Giffords, who's like him and her are in charge of like one of the biggest gun grabbing organizations in the whole country. And it just goes on and on and on. All of the anti-gunners, like, geez, oh, Pete, did they merge with Black Rifle Coffee? I'm thinking to myself, this sounds like Black Rifle Coffee Company again. Geez, oh, Pete. Apparently they're donating to all the anti-gun. I guess the CEO of Liberty Safes is in a contest with Evan Hafer and Matt Best on who can donate more money or whatever. I don't know. They're all rich and they're publicly available political donations. Hey, they stand for themselves, right? What's happening, QD? He just said $500,000. $500,000, man. I'm having a hard time even keeping this channel and my locals community and all the stuff I do because I work hard behind the scenes, guys. I'm having a hard time keeping this going because so many people can no longer help support this channel for $5 a month. If you guys can support, I really do need the help. It's down in the description, but that's besides the point. These clowns are donating $500,000 to gun grabbers. And I'm not just including myself. I can just only speak for myself. There's a lot of people like you and a lot of people like me that are busting our butts trying to get good information out to support and protect and defend the Second Amendment. that are worried about paying for parking structure fees and gas money to go try to make an actual difference. And these guys are throwing around hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to the other side. I don't know. I haven't seen them do anything to help anybody. It's trying to further defending the Second Amendment. This other topic is going to be a quick teaser. So in Michigan, I had State Representative Mike Harris come on here. I thought it was an excellent stream. You guys can still go back and watch it on replay. We're going to be over on Locals in about 17 minutes, guys. So make sure you sign up for that in the meantime. Sign up for free and you'll be able to watch the stream tonight. Or you can support for more perks over there. We're going to have a good time. But State Representative Mike Harris, he came on and we were talking about the Michigan Capitol ban. He's pissed. Not happy about it at all. He made that pretty obvious. Well, I knew he had this coming. I just couldn't say anything about it publicly. Again, not because we're not all friends, because the other side watches these. You don't want them to know. He's just introduced House Bill 4943. I'm going to put a video out this weekend on this or early next week. And I'm going to try to do like a StreamYard thing with the representative where I can maybe have him on the video to talk about his own bill. But Representative Mike Harris just drafted House Bill 4943. It would be eliminating this secret state capitol historical site commission that, if you're new to this channel, go back and watch. Look at my YouTube channel. I've talked about it a lot. I know I've reported on this more than anybody, and I might be the only person that's ever reported on this because I don't know why. I'm just the only person that reports on a lot of this stuff, but that's why you guys are here, right? So he put a bill forth to actually fight back. Now, there's tons of good co-sponsors on this, including, of course, my favorite state representative, Jamie Thompson. She's my friend and, in my opinion, the best representative in the whole state of Michigan. I'll pull this up here so you guys can see these sponsors. All right. I'm going to try to roll it through nice and slowly for you. I know who all these people are. Some of them I know personally. Some of them I don't. I know most of the reps in Michigan, but not all of them. I'll post all these reps on my Locals community later, so you guys don't have to sit here and hear me read all of them off, but there's some good ones on here. What you guys are going to need to do that live in Michigan is get behind all of these that are sponsoring this bill. Let them know you have their back. It's very, very important. And then we're going to encourage all the other reps and senators to come on and support this bill. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. Tell them they need to support this bill or get them out. Because I'm not going to say too much more than this. As soon as you guys are sitting here saying right now, dude, it's Michigan, the Dems have the majority. No, I know some information that not a lot of people know. And I mean this in a positive way right now. Okay? I'm going to tell you just a little bit of it right now. And I'm not trying to be this guy. There's just reasons I have to keep stuff close to the vest. Because there's lots of strategy going on right now. And I know a lot of people on the inside. And if we were all out in the woods, I'd tell you guys every bit of it. But I can only tell you a little bit because I've already caught the other side sending spies over here. The Dems have an exact 2-seat majority in the Michigan House of Representatives. That's it. There's going to be something very interesting happen, I predict, in the next couple months, where things could get shifted up in a way that you might not think about. I'll just say that. And things could get very interesting. And I know I'm being that guy right now, but I don't want to say anything more than that. Because some of the stuff people know about, some of it they don't. Just, we need to get behind this bill for several reasons. This is Michigan House Bill 4943. The author of this bill is Representative Mike Harris. Funny story, guys. I was down there. This is the life I lead, right? I was down in a closet on the side with a hole I'd cut in the drywall, okay, replacing a T-fitting on a pipe, 3-inch, okay, with a 1.5-inch stub out. I had to replace the T and then make my own stub outs to get it back together again. So I'm under there doing that last night, and I'm underneath like this shelf in a closet on my side, and I literally hear on my phone, it goes bling. That's like my text message, and it goes bling, bling. I'm like, oh, someone literally like hit send twice because I got back to back bling, bling. I crawl out an hour later. I look down. I'm like, oh, my favorite state representative, Jamie Thompson, just texted me. And she texted me showing me that she's a co-sponsor. There was a picture of her in the clerk's office. That's where they file this stuff. It's called the clerk. They file the bill. This bill's been filed. And then she shows me a link. I'm like, awesome. I go back to my message feed, and right below that, Representative Mike Harris. And I will show you guys right now because there's no numbers on here. Let me see real quick here. Yeah, I'm not going to dox anybody by showing this. Now, I've texted some of these people in between, so Mike's going to show up higher in the list, but bling, Representative Mike Harris. Bling, Jamie Thompson, okay? And Mateo, and Jeremy Wilson, and my dad. So I'm going to go to my parents' house this Sunday to look at their driveway to put some sealer on it. If you guys are interested in what my texting are. Both of them had texted me literally within like 1 second of each other. So I'm on the phone with Harris today. Rep Harris. I'm like, awesome, dude. We need to try to make a big deal out of this because of the momentum and some really weird things that are going to be happening in a month or two in Michigan. So, yeah. And I'm like, let me ask you a question. Were you with Jamie when she texted me? He's like, well, I was with her earlier that day because they had session. He's like, no, when I texted you, no, I wasn't with her. Why? Because I thought they were both sitting next to each other, like texting me to be funny at the same time. No, they just both texted me at the same exact time and weren't even in the same room as each other. Why am I sharing this story with you guys? Look, this is how more of us need to be. Local, local, local. I need you guys to start having these relationships with your state reps, with your county commissioners, your trustees, your school boards. This is in all 50 states. I'm not just talking to Michigan people right now. I'm listing some Michigan reps because I live in Michigan and I'm able to go to the Capitol to sort through all that swamp there to find the few good ones. I can't go to all 50 of your states to do that, but I don't need to do that because that's what all of you are for, right? Yeah, literally within the same second, they both texted me about this. I'm only telling you because this shows that there's still some good ones out there that actually care about this stuff. Look, they do their press releases. They have their media people that work for the House put it up all fancy, and they put it online, and they send it to the Detroit News and Free Press, and they do all that. Yeah, all politicians do that. I'm saying there's actually some people in Lansing that are willing to literally text me, who's a literally nobody, within like minutes of it happening before they even went through and did all their fancy stuff. And so I'm trying to tell you guys this for encouragement. There is a bill that will remove these powers from the Secret Capital Commission, and I'm going to do a video on it this weekend or Monday because I would like to have the author of the bill on the video with me. It won't be a live stream. It'll just be like a 10-minute-ish video. And yeah, he'll have some insight on it. But yeah, this is something him and I have been talking about for quite a bit. All right. Did I have any super chats tonight, Linda? Because I definitely like to read those because I really appreciate you guys doing this. And I'm going to ask a real quick question. I did this last week. She's going to get mad at me. Her fingers are going to fall off. But I call her up. I'm like, Representative. I said, can you sign some more flyers for me? Are there any people in Michigan here? Okay. You can say you're a fan or you just think it's cool to build pop culture with actually having representatives that care. Whatever your reason is. I do have another one here. And I told her I'm coming over soon. She's getting another stack of these and making her sign more. If any of you would enjoy one of these favorite Representative Jamie Thompson flyers, this is a nice mailer. And she signed it by hand and said, shall not be infringed. Jamie Thompson, which is something pretty hard to get a politician to put in writing. So chime in the chat. First person that comes in there and says they want this, Linda will grab them up and then just give them the email, Linda, if you could do that for me real quick here. Barney Brady, member for 8 months, came in right before the stream started and said 2A, Edu is the man when it comes to 2A news, none better. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate the encouragement, dude, and it helps out. Helps keep me where I'm able to still be motivated to come do this stuff. I think maybe Threaded for My Pleasure jumped in first, but make sure you check Linda. I want to send him a box of other swag already, and I've wanted to do that for a month and a half. So if you remind me tomorrow, Linda, I want to send Threaded for My Pleasure, whether he was the first person or not, some other stuff anyways, okay? And I already wanted to. But if somebody else was ahead of him, just pick whoever wanted it. I'll get more of these, but I'm going to go over there and say, here you go. Right till your hand falls off, girl. Shout out to QD for giving the gift of memberships. Well, thanks, man. And for any of you that are members or supporters on Patreon or on Locals, I do give bonus content. I just put up a video showing my new snail. Huh? It's actually pretty interesting. And I already have a follow-up video recorded. I record stuff around the shop, behind the scenes, working on vehicles, tools. In this case, my new pet snail. So I'm not joking. Go become a member or support on Patreon or Locals, and you'll see the proof for yourself. But no, I give you guys some extra content, so make sure you guys check that out for sure. Right on, man. Threaded for My Pleasure has got stickers on 3 welding helmets at work. Politics is downstream from culture. Absolutely. Completely agree with you. Obviously. Two great minds think alike, don't they? QD coming in with a super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, dude. He says, I've done my due research on Liberty Save. Okay, what's this? He says they're done. Ooh, that was kind of short and unequivocal. He says, Deviant Olam has a great take on it. Okay. I don't know who that is, but no, I trust you, man. I've hung out with QD in real life. All of you guys have hung out with QD many hours in these live streams, and you're a smart dude. So if you tell me they're done, I'm going to tend to agree with you. I haven't been able to do a lot of research, but I'm not going to argue with you, man. Okay. Tim Harper was first. Cool, Tim. So email that. Linda just tagged you in the comment there. And we're going to send Threaded for My Pleasure a box of other stuff because I've been wanting to do that for like months now. So remind me of that tomorrow, please, Linda. And I'll bring some stuff from the shop home and put you to work. Get in there, woman, and start packing some of my boxes for these good viewers. Right? She's like, yes, husband, I'd be eager to do that. Right? No, she's actually like, dude, screw you. But Threaded for My Pleasure is a cool dude. I'll send it to him. No, Linda's a good one. What's this? Wow, very generous super chat from QD. Thanks a lot, man. He just threw down a 50 spot to say super chat. Well, thanks, man. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, the anti-gunners are supporting the anti-gun safe companies, and coffee companies are supporting all the Democrats. And tonight, yeah. Thank you for being the sponsor of the channel tonight, because QD has single-handedly has become the official sponsor for the stream tonight. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right. If you guys are too lame or too scared to go over to my Locals community, because I'm literally heading over there in about 2 minutes, then I guess I'll see you guys next week. You really don't have to go home. I literally have a stream already posted on Locals, but I'm going to show this actually how it works over there. But if you're too scared or whatever, There's an awesome sale right now for JM4 Tactical. This is their leather retention holster. It's actually magnetic retention holster. It's really cool. I'll show you guys that in a few minutes on locals because I can't hear. And I'm going to type the code one more time in the chat. It'll save you 20% from now till the 11th. But if you use my link that's in the description, it does help the channel, and it's a win-win. I'm giving you guys like a recommendation of something that might hit the spot for many of you. Giving you a code, you know, you can save 20% off, which is huge. And if you use my link, a couple of crumbs come back into the channel and allows me to keep doing stuff. A lot of people sporting 2A EDU stickers. QD got some 2A EDU stickers the other day, or at least one, right? I think I might have sent you one or two. I don't know. EV3Dale's got the 2A EDU sticker on the inside of the stack on. It's a good company with all the big name brand stickers. Yeah. Hey, I didn't say I was a big name brand, guys. I'm not a big name brand, but some people have said here and there, some people have said that I'm a quality brand, right? Even though just not that big. What's up, Jeremy Wilson? How you doing, man? Jane Locke. What's up, Jane? How you doing? She says it's time to Bud Light, Liberty Save. Ooh. Is QD right, Jane? I'm starting to think so. Yep, Drain the Swamp chimed in at the same exact time. What's happening, man? What's up, Mike McClune? DLD After Dark. How you doing? What's up, Mateo? He says, Liberty who? Never heard of her. Dude, they're wanting to like bead blast the Statue of Liberty, by the way, and make it where she's not green anymore and stuff. I don't know. Maybe you guys like that. Maybe you don't. I have no idea. D's Nuts chiming in saying, thanks for being a real American, brother. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Special thank you to John Crump for leaving the $2 super chat 2 weeks ago. Cutie's telling me to remind you guys of. What's up, John Crump, if he's watching? I don't see him in here, though. What's up, Amanda Wilson? Nice to see you. Maybe he's in here. I don't know. Talked to Crump on the phone a little bit earlier. He has an article over on Ammo Land talking about the New Mexico ban and stuff. All right, I covered about everything that was in the title tonight. And I'm going to head over to locals in just a minute here because I want to touch guns. And I don't want to lie. I didn't cover one thing. Here's the ammo. Hey, I told everybody this was going to be at the very end from the beginning. You just wait and see. I know how people are. Hey, I get spicy on here sometimes. I ask for it. It's totally good. Someone's going to come rolling right into my comments on the replay. Where's the ammo unboxing? 6 minutes in, he hasn't shown the ammo. I said it was going to be at the end. And then I said it's really going to be over on locals where I can actually show it. So there's a box of ammo in here. There's another box over there. And for all the YouTube censors watching, I'm not telling them where they can get it. I'm also not telling them how much. So relax. But I am going to go over this and open it up and tell you guys where you can get this or something very similar to it for like a steal. Okay. I'm also going to be going over some of this right here for the 380 fans for like the lowest price on the internet. Not here on YouTube, but over on locals. And I'm going to be going over this stuff, which I'm kind of excited about and wish I could have bought a whole case, but I didn't. But I'm going to go over this stuff too in a few minutes. All right, let me take one last look at the chat here, and I'm going to jump off because I'm 2 minutes late for my own stream, but you guys can go over there and wait for me. I just have to like go pee and get a drink when I sign off here, and I'll be right back. Like I'm not going anywhere. I'm just moving over to another window on my computer for my already scheduled live stream on locals. America the Free coming in with a super chat. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you, dude. You've been a long time supporter of the channel, and says, thank you for all the super saving emails. See, so you must be a member of my locals community where I blast out deals on there. And if you get the alerts, it'll email it to you. And I've saved a lot of people lots and lots of money. And it's like a total win-win because I can help you save a ton over there and you can help support the channel too. Now, don't get me wrong. You're helping yourself out like 100 times more than me, but if there's 100 of you helping yourself by going and checking out my deals over there, then it adds up to keep things going, right? So thank you, America the Free. I appreciate it, man. What's up, DJ? DJ just popped in. What's up, man? I'm just getting ready to jump off of here. What's up, Dale? Dale's in the house. Gort, what's up, Gort? QD with another generous super chat. Thanks so much, man. I thought you were razzing Crump earlier, but no, in all sincerity, he says thank you to Jared. That would be Guns and Gadgets. He's a really nice guy. I know him personally. I'm probably going to see him in a few weeks, I think, hopefully. He says thank you to Jared and John Crump for the CRS stuff. Prayers for Matt Hoover. Yeah, man, I talked about that earlier. If you guys are just starting, it's a travesty. I'm really pissed. I'm going to continue to be pissed about it. Probably forever. I just can't even believe that happened, and I'm not happy about it. And Crump put in a lot of work with that. So, yeah. And Jared with Guns and Gadgets, and DLD After Dark, and Flying Rich, and other people. So, yeah. All right, Pillbox Bunker says, I'll see you in a few. Like I said earlier, Chain Lock, lifetime warranty. I would suggest getting a hold of them. But like I said earlier, guys, I already have this scheduled ahead of time. I've already run over for my own stream. So you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And I hope I see you guys over on Locals, where I'll be touching guns in just a few minutes. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.